know what is what.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is Cult of the Living Dead.
Let's get started. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Cult of the Living Dead. This week, we are covering the 2003 cult classic Oldboy. This is a film out of Korea. As always, I am your host, The Dale, followed by my two co-hosts, Mr. Seiya
Yo.
and Twan.
Up.
Just a quick reminder for returning listeners and for first-time listeners, we are a cult movie podcast. We cover cult classics, B-movies, and horror. None of us are academically trained in film critique, but we all love movies, so keep in mind these opinions are subjective, and enjoy the ride. All right, Oldboy, 2003 film. Spoiler alert, I like this movie. This movie kicks ass. This movie's fucking weird. I'd seen it before. Say's seen it before, and I believe Twan, this is your first time seeing it, right?
Yep.
And I'm excited to hear your opinion on it because I feel like I'm sure we'll get into it. But I feel like foreign movies, like I don't know, maybe the way that they like in another culture, the way you experience the world is different, and they're sometimes like the storylines of some of these movies are kind of like, oh shit. I feel like in the U.S. it could be a little formulaic sometimes. So I was not expecting what a twist at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, let me do a quick rundown of our cast and crew. So the director is Park Chan-wook. So Oldboy is the second movie in his Vengeance trilogy. The first one being
Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance,
There you go.
2002.
Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, followed immediately by this movie, and then Lady Vengeance. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the other Vengeance trilogy. I've seen Lady Vengeance. That movie is fucking crazy. That movie's intense. That's a good movie. That movie's kind of kind of creepy in a way. And we talk about how in the U.S. they're like we don't really kill kids. That whole movie's about just murdering children. It's not a spoiler. That's literally like the entire movie.
When you say crazy, is it like is it like the action pieces in this movie or like the
No, like
the torture portions of the movie?
The torture part, and then just like the So think about how what's his name? Lee Woo, like his crafting of his vengeance in this movie, right? Because like this is a vengeance story, but I feel like the vengeance is coming from the bad guy, not necessarily from Odal So or whatever. It's not. He's not committing the vengeance. He's the purpose being avenged.
Yeah,
is that right? Being avenged against? I don't know. So
it's like a double vengeance.
Yeah. Where Lady Vengeance is, it's like you're in like Lee Woo's perspective, and you're seeing like the main character craft her vengeance against her perpetrator, and like how like intense and like awesome she is at planning and like all the crazy shit she does. It's cool. All these movies follow. Well, I haven't seen Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, but they all follow like a similar pattern of like a fucking Saw like John Kramer like fucking storyline where you fucking I saw all 10 Saws for spooky season, so I'm gonna Saw mindset right now. Number 10 rocks, dude. It's low key might be the best one.
10? Damn.
Yeah, takes place in Mexico.
Okay. What?
Yeah, it's a prequel.
Damn. What the fuck?
It stars John Kramer and Amanda.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really good. If you're gonna watch any of the ones that came out after 2, because I think we've all seen 1 and 2.
Yeah,
10's sick. It has nothing to do with the. Well, I guess you
any
need
of
to
the
have
stories?
seen. You would have need to have seen Saw 4 to understand who one of the characters is.
Fuck, man.
It's yeah.
That's like watching like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. You got to watch like everything else beforehand just to understand what the fuck is going on.
Well, because you guys have seen the first 3 Saws, right?
Yeah.
So you know how Amanda dies, like she gets shot.
Yeah.
Fucking dies at the end of 3. So
Spoiler alert.
Four is like I'll edit this out. Four is like shows who's John's
You'll have to
other
edit this out,
Don't
dude.
others
edit it.
accomplishments.
It's such an old franchise.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. Fuck. I goddamn. I might have to watch 4 and then I'll go check out 10.
But yeah, the Lady Vengeance is kind of like her fucking creating this whole plan and how she gets her revenge. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
nice.
So yeah, Park Chan-wook, he did the Vengeance trilogy. He did The Handmaiden, which is another critically acclaimed film that he did. I've seen The Handmaiden. That one's kind of similar to these two, with like all his movies have like these like crazy stories. It was written by, I'm probably gonna butcher this name, Goran Tsuchiya. He also did the manga. He's a manga writer. So he did the manga Hardcore and Oldboy. Oldboy, the film, is based off a manga. And Nabuki Minagishi, who also helped write Oldboy. And then Park Chan-wook, I think, worked on the screenplay for it. The music is by Cho Young-wook. And he's basically just done all the music for Park Chan-wook's films. You look at his
Nice.
like credited, it's like all fucking Park Chan-wook films.
That's his boy.
That's his boy. You see that a lot, like where directors just have like a dude that they just work with all the time. I forgot
Makes
who
sense.
we were
like the Disney
Well-
guy that has just done all the bangers for Disney.
who fucking
Fuck. What's his name? He
Doom,
did.
doom, 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 doom.
oh, Phil Collins.
Phil
Yeah,
Collins, there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Phil Collins just making all the Disney music.
Is he the one that does "You Got a Friend in Me"?
Yeah.
That guy does a lot of it's him, right?
Is that him?
What?
Oh no, that's
No, that's,
Newman, right? Gary Newman.
Yeah, Garrett not Paul Newman.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman.
Is it Paul
Randy
Newman?
Newman.
Randy Newman. Paul Newman's the actor. I just remember Randy
We-
Newman for
We
when
just
they
had
do
to
that.
get there.
Yeah.
We were-
That Family Guy episode is I got an apple. Oh man.
Look, oh sorry, we're gonna go on a quick tangent. He did music for Toy Story, Monsters Inc., Monsters University, Cars 3, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 4. That's it. He just did all those. But Bugs Life.
Bugs
I feel
Life,
Bugs Life.
like those
Monsters
are
University, Cars.
yeah, those are like the big movies that I think about when I think about like
But
Disney
Phil Collins
Pixar.
did Lion King, right?
Let's go check it out.
I think he did Tarzan.
Sabuenya. But damn it, all the jungle films.
He did Tarzan, I know for sure. Sus.
He did Tarzan. He did Brother Bear,
Oh,
Ooh,
he's a nature
nice.
boy.
and that looks like it's it.
What?
Damn, he only did
He
Tarzan?
did two movies?
We should just remember him.
Phil
Phil
Collins,
Collins, he did all of them.
The two films. 2 out of like 1,000 Disney movies. Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah, he literally just did Tarzan.
That's funny.
Oh fuck!
Oh fuck.
And when's the last time you guys saw Tarzan?
It's been a
It's
minute.
been a
We should
minute.
put it on the
The
wheel.
Been a minute.
soundtrack is fucking crazy for that movie.
Fucking
He really
Phil
gets into
Collins did
character.
it.
I know.
Oh man, I like Phil Collins. He makes good music. Oh, that's
Heavy on
funny.
the drums.
Oh, he loves the drums. Oh shit. Okay. The cast is Choi Min Sik plays Oh Daiso. He was in I Saw the Devil and Lucy.
I Saw the Devil's a sick movie. If you guys haven't seen it,
I've
Sounds
heard of it.
crazy.
I've heard it's good.
I saw it at your house.
yeah, it's like similar to this. It's like vengeance type shit.
Is it a Korean film too?
Yeah, yeah. It does. Fuck, I don't know how to. It's like about a detective who is investigating a crime. And he just spirals inward to this fucking crazy crime and this fucking intense mastermind of the crimes. Really, really cool. Good movie to check out.
Yeah.
Does this dude the main star?
He's one of the stars, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Lee Woo In is played by Yu Ji Tai. He was in Ditto Maratma and The House That Josh Built. I haven't seen any of his stuff. We have Mido, played by Kang Hai Jung. She didn't really make anything after 2008, which is kind of crazy. She was in Rules of Dating and The Butterfly. And then Mr. Han, played by Kim Byung Ok, and he was in New World and also Lady Vengeance. That guy, Mr. Han, is like the only dude outside of the main character where I'm like, I've seen this dude in movies. He always plays a bad guy.
Mm,
Might be his hair.
Yeah, it's definitely his hair.
mm,
He
Um,
looks like that guy from Rush Hour.
so one little tidbit that I read about is that his he does look like the guy from Rush Hour. Fucking Ode So is supposed to be like reminiscent of Oedipus from the Greek legend Oedipus the king. And I guess in like
nice.
Korea, they really see the similarities between that story and this story. And in the West, we didn't so much, which I find interesting because well, it's from Sophocles, so it's like a Greek epic, and like the West loves Greek shit, but it's like the Koreans who double down on it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I haven't read Sophocles in a while, so I haven't. I'm a little rusty on my Sophocles, but I thought that was pretty interesting. I didn't catch on to that. I was like, oh really? I just thought that was some Korean ass name, but
Yeah, I didn't catch on to that either. That might just be like a really Korean specific thing, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, maybe they love the classics.
yeah.
All right, so let's get into our first impressions, histories with the movie. So I'll start first because I was thinking about this when I woke up. So I've seen this movie. I think this is my third time watching it, and I've also seen the Spike Lee remake, which is not even close to being as good as this one. That stars Josh
Damn,
Brolin.
Spike Lee did the remake? That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. I'll probably check that one out.
it's a
Is it
Spike.
worth checking out?
It's okay. It's like a worse version of this one.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't know what that means. It's a Spike Lee movie. It stars
Damn.
Josh Brolin.
I like Spike Lee and I like
What's her
Josh
name?
Brolin.
Scarlet Witch is is the Mido character.
Mhm.
Elizabeth
The
Olsen.
Olsen.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it came out in 2013, which like I saw it when they brought it to Netflix, and I thought in my head that I had seen that movie way more recently than I actually did. But
Hmm.
I might have saw it a couple years later, and I was like, "Oh, Oldboy, sick! What? This is an American version with Josh Brolin." And I saw it, and I was just like, "It was okay. It's not as good as the first one or
I
the
Yeah.
original."
It's always so disappointing when we try to remake a movie and it just doesn't hit the same way. Like Speak No Evil is a more recent one with uh
But didn't that one get
with
like critically acclaimed on?
Speak No Evil.
I thought it
I
did
don't
pretty
think
well.
so.
I thought it got like a B or something.
It
Well,
did well, but they
they like
changed the
The ending.
ending like
yeah.
pretty drastically.
So it's just disappointing. Stick to
Yeah.
the
I've heard
source
the original is
material.
better. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
the
could do what
original's crazy. It's a lot more raw.
did
Dark.
with like Let the Right
Mhm.
One In did and just do like a basic like shot for shot remake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because that's when it works, you know?
But I guess people they want to change it up. Like so like the Spike Lee one doesn't do a shot for shot remake. Obviously, it introduces like I think more like because it takes place in the US, obviously. So I think it has more
Mhm.
US centric
Things.
things to it. Yeah. But I think like this being in Korea, like I don't know, it was all foreign to me. So I was like, oh, this is fucking crazy.
So the plot was the plot the same? Like,
The plot's
Mm-hmm.
exactly the same,
oh, but Americanized.
but
Yeah.
Americanized.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
so what Josh Brolin's like some dude from like Mississippi.
No, he's the same thing. He's a drunk businessman, and he's like a real scumbag. Like the movie opens up with him like at a business meeting, and the dude he's at to this dude and his wife, and the dude like
Uh
leaves to go like take a piss, and he's like rubbing on the chick's thigh and like drunkenly hit on her, and like he's a real piece of shit.
mm.
He's a sleazeball, but then he gets kidnapped like right after that. Kind of like what happens in this movie,
Yeah.
but like less funny because I think the intro first scene of this movie is actually kind of hilarious.
Oh, dude, it was great. It's a great introduction to the character.
So I don't know. I don't remember how I seen Old Boy. I think it might have been on like Stars or something back in the day, and I just like I used to watch a lot of foreign films when I was in high school, and I was just like, oh, what the fuck? I heard this movie looks cool. What about you, Saya? When did you first get introduced to this film?
I don't know. I think this one just like Season of the Witch just kind of like oh no, Season of the Witch popped up because of I think of like like one of those lists that you see on YouTube. I don't remember how this one came up. Um Maybe it was that. I like looking at those
Like Watch Mojo list?
yeah, those Watch Mojo lists of like best movies or best twists, shit like that. So that might have been how I saw this movie or how I heard of this movie originally. But I think this is my like second or third time, no, third time watching the movie. So there are things that I kind of forgot about, like some of the visuals that happen that we'll talk about, I completely forgot about.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a little jarring, especially watching this late night on like in a specific mood of like just spooky stuff. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, I this movie is such a ride and I enjoyed watching it again.
What about you, Twan? Did you know of this movie before watching it?
I knew of this movie. Like I've heard of it. I don't know where from. It was
Was
probably
it the
from one
is
of
it
you dudes.
the iconic like hallway scene? That's like the one thing that gets talked about this movie all the time.
Um, no, but that hallway scene was fucking amazing. Um, but yeah, I know that I've heard of this movie. I just never, got around to watching it. I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't know what type of movie it was. I thought it was going to be some like um I don't know if this is racial, but I thought it was going to be like some heavy martial arts, like heavy on the martial arts.
No, dude, that's funny that you say that because remembering like because I haven't seen it in probably a decade. And
Oh,
I remember watching it, and in my head, I remember the hallway scene and like when he fights and shit.
yeah,
And in my mind, I remember there being like way more action sequences in this movie than it just being like an investigative movie. It's
Mhm.
just like a mystery movie with
yeah,
action scenes in it. It's not an action movie with like a mystery like undertone. It's very much opposite. It's very much mystery forward.
yeah. So yeah, I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't watch a trailer. Like we didn't watch the trailer after because you boys have already seen it. So I was pleasantly surprised, to say the least. But yeah, I have no fucking history with this movie. I was going into it completely blind. Um, but I think it was the better choice because yeah, it was crazy. It was a ride of a movie.
Yeah, this movie has plenty of twists and turns, and I think as you peel back the layers of this onion, it just gets more crazy as you get to the center.
It's good
Center of
good
the onion.
metaphor.
Yeah, center of the onion, Shrek style. All right, well, let's start working our way through the movie. We kind of touched on it to begin with, but the opening, well, it's not the first scene, but it's like the first section because the movie kind of like starts 20 minutes in, like you get to back to the beginning point, probably like 15, 20 minutes in after your initial where you see Odai like holding some dude being like, oh, where am I? Who are you? And then it cuts to him looking, I don't know how they did this, but I think he looks fucking unrecognizable from the dude we see in the police station to the guy we see getting out of prison. Like I was like, are these the same character? Did they get different actors to play these dudes? Because I feel like he looked like all he was all chubby and shit. And like
Yeah,
when he was like in the police station, it starts off with him basically like being in the drunk tank and just making a fucking fool of himself, dude. He's just being just so fucking oh my god. I guess he ad libbed this entire scene, which I think is
that's funny.
awesome.
Nice. It was a great scene. They probably just had him drink
Like
like
actually
binge
drink,
drink, and then he got like
all
puffy and
puffy, all
swollen.
sweaty.
Yeah,
He looks drunk. He does a good job.
yeah, he does.
He's just take a piss in the corner of the police station.
I know he pulled a Saya.
That shit was fucking hilarious. And he puts on his the like gift he got for his daughter, the like angel wings, and he just starts like flapping with them.
I think he does like actually lose weight for this movie though, because I remember in the beginning when they lock him up, he is a little bit like heavier, and
Mhm.
then you see him later on when he gets out and he has his shirt off and he has like he's more defined at that point in time. So they probably did make him like lose weight and gain muscle, and then I think his like his hair, right? Because his hair is just all crazy at
Yeah,
the
That
end
is
too.
crazy, and he has like
Um,
that like goatee look.
they
mhm.
did the Tom Hanks Castaway method.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
they
here,
just
here's the crazy part because I thought the same thing, right? And then when I was looking into stuff after the movie, so the police scene is the last thing they shot,
Okay,
and he
Damn.
did he lost 20 pounds um before filming started so he could like be more in shape. And he like I guess he was like he took like martial arts or worked out for like 6 weeks, like a 6 week program, and he
nice.
lost 20 pounds. So I was like, that's crazy that the police station was the last thing because he looks very much like
Different.
bigger than he
Yeah.
did. I was like, maybe it's just the hair. I don't know.
Damn.
The hair sheds 20 pounds.
Also, a 6 week program to lose 20 pounds doesn't sound like a lot when you consider everything that they make, like all the Marvel actors do now. Like they're constantly training to
Yeah,
be
Like
in
shredded.
shape 24/7 now. Yeah, because that's just that's like our culture here.
Well, they
Yeah.
are supposed to look like
they're
superheroes.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only one guy could play the Blob. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, this seems hilarious, dude. I feel like this is like one of the few moments of levity you get like in the whole film. It just starts off being like, oh look at this silly goose, this fucking drunk asshole. And his homie comes and like picks him up, and then he's like talking on the phone. I guess we find out it's like his kid's birthday, and he's like talking to her daughter, apologizing, like, "Oh, I'm gonna be home soon," and then he gets kidnapped, and that's it. And you're like, "Oh shit, what happened to this dude?" And
Yeah,
I like the narration he has like throughout the movie, where you get like his inner thoughts, or he's talking about how he's like, if I would have known I was gonna be locked up for 15 years, it might have made it easier on me. He's like, or maybe then again, maybe it wouldn't have. And I think the whole scene, um, the whole like section of him being locked up in prison was pretty crazy. Is there anything that happened that kind of stood out to you guys?
I think when he's watching the news and he hears about his wife being killed,
That was crazy. That
and
was fucking
then
insane.
and then the ant comes out of his arm. I think that
Oh,
ooh,
that's right.
like that whole
yeah,
visual piece was pretty intense. Like I guess for me the way I interpreted that is that that was him like rationalizing or just him just breaking from reality. Um
Like
because he
losing
was
it a little bit.
yeah, because he was just about to be locked up forever and he literally just disappeared. So that was a really heavy scene.
I
Um
mean, not even like disappear, but I think like the double disappearance. It's like even if you do escape, um, the police think you murdered your wife, and all the evidence points to you murdering your wife. So what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? You're like a
yeah,
yeah,
fugitive. You're just gonna get thrown right back in jail.
yeah.
true. And all things considered, wasn't the worst place to be staying.
It was a pretty good prison cell. It was like basically like a motel room
Yeah.
Hmm.
with a TV and like a open concept shower. What about you, Ton? Was there anything that stuck out to you?
No, I mean the only thing I put down was the visualization of the ants. Um, just like yeah, him losing it. That was his breaking point. But other than that, no, I just wanted to comment on how nice uh
The apartment
the
is.
apartment was for him being like a prisoner. It could have been a lot worse, you know?
Yeah, I like the way that they use they give us little clues to in this scene about like him losing his mind and then like him going through those waves of insanity and then like coming to grips and like he starts to train his body where he like makes that outline of a person on the wall. And he just
Hmm.
starts shadow boxing. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, whenever you look at his hands throughout the movie, his knuckles are like super calloused over.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool. Or they make it a point to focus on him eating the dumplings because
Hmm.
that'll come into play later on in the movie. And I thought it was crazy that to make sure that he goes to sleep, they like gas him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I was like, that's fucking wild. Is this so he doesn't like go insane? They like do everything these for these the guys who were holding him captives or they're professionals about it.
They really
Yeah, they
were.
were.
I mean, it's a whole business.
Yeah,
So
this is like that's true.
yeah.
That part's pretty insane. And we'll get to that later.
Yeah, and then how he while he's in there, he's like trying to figure out who would have done something like that to him. So he starts writing down all the names of people that he
He's like
thinks
fucked
that he
over.
wronged in the past.
Hmm.
It's like two notebooks worth of
Yeah,
fucking
and
people.
he says
Yeah.
he's like there's too much wrongdoing. It's like fuck, I've wronged too many people.
He's
He
like,
gets
I
really
thought I was an
introspective.
ordinary guy, but I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what I liked about it too, is that even though he's kind of the protagonist, he's not like a good protagonist. Like he's kind of the I mean,
No,
he's like he's just a shitty dude. But he's put in this situation, so we kind of like follow him through his like hero journey, I guess, in a way. If we're using like the story of Oedipus and like all that stuff, his hero journey is to try to figure out like what's going on. But he's definitely not like a good guy, and that's how it starts off.
I think that's one thing that this movie does good that I saw that Park Chan-wook like wanted to do and like is different from how we do it in the West, like in Korea or like in Eastern films, maybe just Korean films. This is his opinion. He's like the world is rarely ever like fully good or fully bad. So like this movie's very much in the gray. Like you can
Hmm.
sympathize with what he's going through because you're like, fuck, that sucks. You got locked up, they framed you for murder, and you're just there. Like even when he tries one thing I thought was interesting, when he tries to like kill himself multiple times,
Mhm.
they just gas him, like stitch him up and throw him back in there. Like, nah, dude, you're not gonna die. And not
Yeah.
only that, do you think like, okay, you just removed the mirror, so you can't do that again? No, they put a fresh mirror in there. Like you could try this as many times as you want, but we're not gonna
Hmm.
let you like kill yourself.
Yeah.
So he's just like putting himself through pain
Yeah.
essentially for no reason.
And then they never clean up the blood stains. They're there the whole time he's there.
Yeah.
Just like a constant reminder of his failed attempts.
Yep. I think that's interesting. And then even as we'll see with the bad guy later on, you can kind of empathize with why he ultimately did what he did, even though like it was pretty like fucked up. But it's like both none of them are like fully good or fully bad people.
True.
Although the bad guy's pretty fucked in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like how they use the television as like a form to show the passage of time.
Hmm.
All these like world events. They even show 9/11.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Never forget.
That must
I
have
almost
been
forgot
it
until this movie.
that must have been never forget. That was a fucking intense fucking I thought I like the little monologue he has about it too, about how good TV is and how like the TV becomes his family.
Hmm.
And then and they just show him like trying to like jerk off to like this music video and like finish before the music video ends.
Yeah, he says the television is both a clock and a calendar, and he makes friends with the television, and he's like, it can be your school, your church, a friend, and a lover. And then when he says a lover, it shows him beating his meat.
And then he's disappointed because he can't finish before the music video ends. He's like, better luck tomorrow.
He's got to learn how to be quick with it.
One thing I found interesting, I don't know if this was like part of the bad guy's plan or not, or it just was happenstance. How he kind of gets his shit together. He has like a few years of him like losing it. And I think it's like year 12 where he like really like he gave him 3 chopsticks or something. And he's like, I like to imagine that the guy in the cell next to me is eating with just 1 chopstick. And then he decides because they're metal chopsticks, he like uses it to carve out like the mortar in between the bricks
Hmm.
to try and like break out. And then right when he finally removes a brick to hit the outside world, that night when he goes to sleep, he gets hypnotized. And I think they show this hypnotist a couple times, huh? While he's being locked up.
I only
I
remember
think
them once.
Was it only
yeah,
the one
she
time?
only comes out the last time, the
Yeah.
last night. Yeah,
So he gets hypnotized, and then this is where it cuts. He wakes up like on the roof, which I think is
In a
interesting,
suitcase.
in a suitcase on like a plot of grass. There's like just grass on the top of that roof, which I think is kind of interesting. I think that's a thing they do in Asia because they don't have a lot of room for green spaces.
Yeah, I got to do vertical gardens.
And then there's just a guy there who's like about to commit suicide.
Yeah.
I like how he
Random.
looks at this dude pop out of a trunk and he's like, don't try and stop me. And the guy, he's like not even freaked out. Like, what the fuck? Why was that guy in that fucking suitcase? Oh my god.
He tells his dog, he's like, oh, a human.
Oh.
Like, what the fuck?
Dude, and this is I thought was so funny. He's like, come, sit down, don't kill yourself. I'm gonna tell you my story. And he just like sits him down, tells him everything that happens to him. And he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna get going now. And the guy's like, I'm gonna tell you my story. And he's just like leaves.
He's like, nah,
Dude,
I don't give
I
a
I don't got
fuck
time
about
for your story.
I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck, dude.
I thought that was a really interesting. I did question like why did that? What was the purpose of this scene? Like why did they choose him to come out of his suitcase and immediately meet a man who is like about to kill himself? And
Right,
then
that had to have been planned. I don't know how. Maybe it was just happenstance. Maybe to test his humanity.
Maybe they hypnotized that dude
well,
to
no,
want to kill himself.
I guess I was thinking in terms of the story, right? Because the story has like I think every scene in the story is supposed to have like a purpose. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe this one was just to show him that like there's still fucked up people like out in the world, and, like everybody's got their own problems.
Well, in the very next scene, he kind of says that laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone.
That's right.
So it's just like a commentary on this dude's gonna be alone, by himself while he's sad.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna leave him alone.
It's interesting that you point that out because that was written in his cell, I believe, which I think is kind of interesting.
like that specific line.
Yeah, that specific line was written. It's from a poem by.
Oh shit!
I don't think I took note of the poet. And then the painting that's in there is like the like lonely man or some that painting is supposed to be like another representation of like isolation that's in there. That's also very famous. So I think like those little things are kind of cool. Like that the director did like very intentional, like to double down on the loneliness that this dude went through. I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
And he also gets another line from the suicidal guy that comes back at the very end of the movie. The even though I'm no better than a beast, don't I have the right to live?
That's right. No, he doesn't get that from the guy. The guy says, because I'm no better than a beast, I don't have the right to live." And then he flips it for being like,
right.
even though I'm no better than a beast, don't I still have the right to live? Which I think was pretty interesting. I was like, oh shit. Like I paused it. I was like, yeah, that was pretty powerful.
it was good for full circle moment.
You know who would agree with that? John Kramer from Saw.
Oh yeah.
This is Saw 11, Oldboy.
Oh yeah, damn! A Korean Saw would be kind of crazy. I think Park Chan-wook would do a sick ass Saw movie.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's trained by John Kramer.
Oh, this whole like initial like section of the movie where he kind of like breaks out and then ends up ultimately like at the sushi place, I thought was pretty crazy. Like, what a gangster ass move he does after this, where he goes up to those like 5 hooligans and he just like walks up to that guy smoking a cigarette and just takes it out of his mouth and like just starts ripping it. And they all look at him like in shock. They're like, what the fuck? Did this dude just do that? And he all did that just to be like, all right, I trained invisibly or by myself. Let's see if I can actually like fight somebody. Yeah. And he just kicks the shit out of all of them. He's like, all right, cool. I could totally do this. I thought that was pretty funny.
That was pretty badass. His fighting skills actually transferred over really well.
Yeah. I mean, it showed him watching like boxing matches and shit like that. So makes sense. And I like the small detail that we get in this scene too. How he takes a drag of the cigarette and it's too much for him.
Oh yeah.
It's like, dude, he's been locked up for 15 years. And also the part where he's in the elevator and he's like freaking out
Oh
because
yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
because of the woman's in there.
is
I
is that
think
why
it's
he's freaking out?
I think it's the woman. I think he's like
think it's the
fighting
woman.
back the urge to just like
Oh shit! I thought he was freaking out because it was an elevator.
nah,
It's like, oh no, what is this?
He was. There were cars in the street when he got kidnapped.
What
He
is
was
this
only gone
technology?
for 15 years.
the elevators have been around since like the 1800s and shit. Like old tech.
Right? Like old pulley system elevators.
Holy shit, dude!
Nice.
Nice.
These are so
Love
much
foreign
faster
films.
than the other one. Oh my God.
I mean, he was on the roof.
He was high up. Given. I like that detail too when he gets out of the trunk and the sun burns his eyes.
Yeah,
It takes him a little while to adjust. Yeah, that's how he does
And-
take the rest. And he kind of like looks up and he's like,
and
Yeah.
then his
it's like
way
he
to
hit a
combat
Zen or
that
something.
is he takes the woman's sunglasses from the elevator. And
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
and so the sunglasses he's wearing throughout the whole thing are like cat eye like sunglasses. They
That's
have like a
right.
little point on the edges.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's pretty funny. Oh man, he does kind of like get overstimulated though by seeing that woman.
He does.
He's like revved up and he like needs to hold on to the wall.
That's why I thought he was freaking out because of the speed. I was like, damn, I didn't think like. I guess if you're locked up for 15 years and you just can't fight the urge anymore, but fuck.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that'll come back again with his problem with the urges.
Mhm.
Oh man. And then I like after the fight, he's just like was he like chilling watching TV and then like a bum walks up to him and hands him that like cell phone and a wallet full of cash.
No, he's watching.
Fish
He's
tank.
looking at a fish tank at the
That's
at the
right.
sushi spot.
And then he's like, what's that smell? There's something he says, what's that smell when that guy walks up to him? I thought it was pretty funny that he's like standing outside of a fucking fish mart and someone's rank ass smell was overpowering the smell of fish.
The fish.
Mhm.
Like the bub's like, don't even dare ask me a question. I don't know nothing. Like, damn dog, relax.
Just get away from me.
Dude, and that dude gives him so much cash too when he opens up his wallet. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how much that was in Korean, but like,
It looks like a lot.
oh man. Yeah, he gets into the sushi spot. I like how he looks in the wallet and he's like, "Ooh, there's money in here." And he just like, looks at the sushi place and just like immediately walks in.
Mhm.
One thing I caught, which I find is interesting, that will come back later, is when he sits at the table and he meets Mido for the first time, and she's like, "Oh, hey, it's nice to see you again." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Oh, I thought you were someone else. Like you look familiar. Never mind." And she's like, "What can I get you?" And like he knows all this information about this sushi place because he saw it on TV. But he said it's like famous for like this woman chef or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Is
think it was
she
her.
supposed to be the woman chef?
Mhm.
hmm
She's the only woman that can make sushi because
Her hands are so warm or
Yeah, a
something.
woman's hands are usually warm, but not hers. She has cold hands.
is that a
cold,
real thing?
dead hands?
I don't know, man. I'm a dude and my hands are always warm. So, and like usually
me too.
sushi rice is like kind of like room temp. It's not like cold when you go to like a good sushi restaurant
Yeah,
Yeah.
because cold rice like gets kind of nasty.
it does. It gets
Yeah, I
hard.
don't know.
I like how so he's like, I want something alive. It's like, okay. And they bring him a live octopus and he
Mhm.
just fucking devours that shit. They used 4 live octopuses for this scene.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I had to
Damn.
look that up after. I was like, wait, did he really eat those octopi? And he actually ate all the octopi. She was
It's like a
crazy.
delicacy.
Mhm.
Damn.
That was
I mean,
dangerous as fuck because I guess like not a lot of places do that because after you like their nerve endings still fire off,
mhm.
so their legs still move, so they can get like grip onto the inside of your throat and you just like suffocate.
Damn.
Yeah, he
I
risked
thought
it all
that's
for
what
that.
initially happened to him.
Oh, because he passes out
Yeah,
like
because he
right after
passes
that.
out.
Mm.
I thought, damn, the octopus got him.
And then that was the end of the movie. Old boy.
Imagine.
Roll credits.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too because it doesn't really give. We don't really find out why he passed out at that moment until like later on. But he
Yeah.
does immediately just like douche, like just falls over, and you're like, what the fuck?
Mhm.
And then this was like really bizarre because the age difference between Me Doe and this dude is like pretty drastic.
Yeah.
You could like she's young and like pretty, and he's like he looks older than he probably actually is.
It's like Chalice and what's her name?
Oh yeah, and
Season of the Witch.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
it is like Chalice and Ellie,
Ellie.
Ellie. But then she does some fucking weird shit. I don't know. But she like takes him to her apartment and like lets him just crash there after meeting him like for the very first time.
Like what any good Samaritan would do instead of calling the fucking ambulance.
Yeah, or like the cops or somebody be like, hey, 911, this dude just passed out in our restaurant after eating a whole live octopus.
The tentacles were still in his mouth when he
Yeah, they're
passed
still
out.
squirming.
Mm-hmm.
And she wakes up and she mentioned something to him, which I think is interesting. Well, she's reading his journals, and all his journals is basically him documenting everything that happened to him.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Holy!" I like how like she's not really like that tripped out about it. She's like, "Damn, did this really happen to you?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like all like grabs his journal, like hugs him, and like hits his head against the desk. I guess I didn't. That wasn't scripted. He did that on
It
accident.
it looked like
Yeah, it looked
it
like it.
wasn't meant to happen. It
Yeah,
looked like it
He's
fucking
like,
hurt.
"Oh
Because he's
fuck!"
like,
because
oh.
he grabs his head after.
But she stood in character and they kept it, so I thought that was pretty cool. It adds a little
Nice.
like I don't know humor and like realism to the film.
Yeah.
And then she mentions this, and then the suicidal guy mentions it too. They both say that he talks weird. They're like, "Why do you talk like that?"
Hmm.
I find that I mean maybe it's in Korean, so you know we don't know the difference because like to me it sounded like I mean he was talking like normal, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just reading the subtitles. Maybe like the tone of voice or the style of speaking was from 15-year prior and like nobody talks like that anymore.
Uh yeah.
It's like if someone from the 90s like, dude, that's fucking tight, bro. Or that'd
Mm-hmm.
be the early 2000s. And you're just using that type of lingo all the time. You're like, why do you fucking like, dude, you're dated. Like, what are you doing?
That's what I thought as well. I had two thoughts. It was either that because I had also seen I follow this guy on social media who's he talks about like linguistics and like specific words and like the way we speak and stuff like that. And I guess in South Korea, South recently South Korean language has like evolved to be a little bit more like westernized. Whereas if you compare it to like a typical like North Korean, that is a little bit it's different. So I was thinking like linguistically, just because of time it's shifted, or because he's only been watching TV for the last 15 years, he talks like a television news anchor.
Hmm.
Oh,
But
maybe.
we can't tell because we don't speak Korean, so we can't understand it. But other people in this world are like, "Yo, why are you talking like that?" That was one thing that I thought of. It was two different thoughts. I
Yeah.
find it way more funny if he's talking like a news anchor the whole time. That would be so hilarious.
That would be kind of funny.
Yeah,
All
just
very like matter of fact.
yeah, just add like a different layer of funny into the movie.
What did you guys think of like this whole like their interaction in the apartment? It was interesting.
Yeah. We get another one liner during this scene, don't we? About the grain of sand or rock. They both sink underwater.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's like
Um
I forget what the exact of. It's kind of like whether you're a grain of sand or a rock, you both sink underwater.
Hmm.
Did that came from a phone call? No, or it came from the IM because
Yeah,
she's
Oh
IMing
yeah,
someone
yeah,
random.
that's right. And he's like
Um,
tripping out. He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
mhm.
yeah.
Because
It's
he's specifically asking for him, and so yeah, it she in some way this has already been like pre-orchestrated.
Yeah, because he's like, "What the fuck? How do you know this?" She's like, "I don't know. He's just some person I talk to sometimes online."
Hmm.
yeah,
And he's like, "What the?" I like how he's like, he looks at her like that's fucking weird, but I need a place to stay right now, so I'm gonna go along with this.
Yeah.
But he is kind of tripped out, and this is where we get another like he can't contain himself because like she pulls out that knife and she's like, "I'm gonna use the restroom. I will fucking stab you if
Hmm.
you try to do anything." And like while she's on the toilet, he just like rushes into the like he just kicks the door open and starts like kissing her and shit and like trying to pull her panties down. Well, I guess they're technically already down. He's like trying to open up her legs
yeah.
Yeah.
and she just butts him with the fucking knife. He's like, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that." He's like, "I get too excited. I must leave."
But then she's just like, it's okay. We all have urges, and
Yeah.
I brought you back here for a reason. But just maybe don't do it again, or if you do it again, don't stop. And so
Yeah.
No,
and so
no,
he,
she's saying she's like I like you, and if I sing this song, know that I'm
hmm,
ready, and even if I fight back, like go ahead.
hmm,
Oh, that's right. Because they have like I guess it was something he mentioned in when they were in the restaurant about this song called "The Face I Miss," and like she also loves that song. So for her, she's like, "Oh, I immediately connected with you because your favorite song is my favorite song."
hmm.
But I thought that was pretty weird though. And she's like, "Even if I fight back, once I sing this song, you have the go ahead.
Yeah.
Some
Fucking
people like
choke
that.
me, bite me, fucking pick a hole. It doesn't matter. I'm down." It's like, damn, girl, like simmer down.
Right? He just finished getting like all worked up about it, and here you are just dropping hints. Why
Dropping
didn't
hints, just straight up saying like, "Just take me" as soon as I start singing in the shower.
Oh yeah.
Like, fuck. That's got to be like an Asia thing, right?
I don't know.
I don't know, maybe.
People have different kinks.
What did you think about her? Like her connection to the ants, because I think we get like a bigger, like you guys kind of touched on it uh earlier, where she says like lonely people imagine ants, and it's like a sign of your loneliness. And like she's on that train and she looks like hella sad, and there's like a big ass CGI'd ant like at the end of the train. I couldn't help but laugh, dude. I was
Yeah.
dying during this scene. I was like, that ant looked so stupid.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
Just vibing out, trying to get home from a long day of
Just
Being an ant.
being an
being an
ant,
ant,
throwing up
chilling.
on babies and moving rocks.
Fucking picking up all the sugar on the floor. I thought that was interesting. I think it's another layer of like their connection, as we'll see, is that they're both very lonely people, but for different reasons.
Hmm.
Like she grew up. We don't really get. I don't know if she gets into I don't remember if she gets into detail about like
She
why
doesn't.
she's lonely, but she's like, I'm also lonely too. Like I know, I kind of know what you're going through, even though like I wasn't locked up. It feels like I've been locked up.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like their connection and how she I think sympathizes with them in the film, because she basically just becomes like his Robin to his Batman.
Yeah.
Because after this they go on this like crazy like investigation tour, like what
Yeah.
is she takes him to like who's this, do they explain who that lady is that they go and meet when they're trying to look for his daughter? And she's like, "Oh, she was adopted by like a Swedish couple or something."
Yeah. I don't
Is that
know.
like supposed to be the aunt or something?
I don't remember who that was.
Because you think if he's wanted for murder, they would have like recognized him if it was a relative.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
also unrecognizable.
Oh yeah, he looks completely different. He does not look like the same dude from the beginning of the movie. I don't know how they pulled that off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if I cut my hair and shaved my beard, I'd look different too. But I
You
don't
would
know.
look completely different, dude.
Yeah, I would be scared of you.
Bill. Yeah, I guess that's true, huh? It's like he did the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I like that was like a connection that they had, like a point where they touch tips of both being mildly psychotic, of just like both seeing ants, like that in that type of way. I thought that was a pretty interesting thing, and I mean it ties back later on, as we'll see. But
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it was dropped here, and it was just like a way for them to kind of come together, and then they build up their like friendship, and it kind of continues and goes on.
I like how clutch she is too in this scene where she like poses as being a reporter in order to get all this like information from this lady.
She
That was
just held
pretty
it down.
clutch.
She's
Yeah,
just
she's
like,
just like right from the get go. She's like, "Let's do this. I'll help you. Fuck it."
yeah. I think it's because she feels so strongly about him, like right off the bat, you
Yeah,
know?
they like immediately fall in love.
Yeah. And I mean, even she's like, I think in the beginning, she's like, good to see you again. He's like, I've never been here before. And she's like, I feel like I know you already, or something like that.
Two
Um,
kindred spirits.
yeah. So they
Yeah.
just immediately just like come together, and they're fucking locked in, just like,
It's like Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper in Silver Linings Playbook.
there it is.
Ooh.
Two
Very-
crazy people that are crazy in love.
Or like John Kramer and Amanda.
Mm.
That's not like a father-daughter relationship, though.
You're right. My bad. My bad.
I like their little adventure that they do go on though.
Dude, their adventure's
trying all
pretty
the pot
cool.
stickers,
All the
Yeah.
dumplings.
all the dumplings.
He's like,
Dude.
he's like, I ate these dumplings for 15 years. I know their taste, flavor, and what does he say? Like their texture. He's all fucking
Mhm.
like a Michelin fucking critic going to all these dumplings.
And they show that one of them made him throw up.
So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, did it make him throw up, or he just ate so many dumplings that he threw up? Because in my head, I was like, I mean, damn, Doc, you don't got to eat all 10.
Yeah,
dumplings.
dude, you just eat
Eat
one.
one.
He was hungry, dude.
This is just housing. You would think after eating dumplings for 15 years, the last thing you'd want to eat is some fucking dumplings.
Well, it was part of the mission that I mean,
Well, I guess he didn't really like mention why, but like he was locked up. He saw a paper that said like blue magic or something, right?
mhm,
Violet blue
mhm.
dragon.
Blue dragon. It was blue dragon. That so he knows the restaurant came from like blue dragon something. And then like I like how the yellow pages play such a vital role in this movie.
Yeah.
For our younger audiences, so back in the day, if you wanted to find information on anything,
Anything.
on anything really, yeah, businesses, even your personal
People.
home numbers
Mhm.
of like friends and family. There was this thick ass book, as thick as like your algebra 2 fucking textbook or algebra 1, whatever, of just information, all phone numbers and addresses. It's called the Yellow Pages, and you can find basically anything in there. How they got away with doing that? That seems like such an invasion of privacy.
Yeah, and there was
Well, wasn't
yellow
it-
pages everywhere on phone
Everywhere.
books. Like you could just open up a yellow page and call whoever the fuck
That
at
is
any point in
that's so
time.
crazy. I don't remember how he does it because when he finally finds the correct dumpling place, he does it without Mido. How does he ditch her again? Does he just leave her at the house and he dips out?
Yeah, I think he just goes on a solo quest, and he just
Because she's pretty attached to the hip. She doesn't like when she's not with them.
yeah. I don't remember how, but he just goes off on his own to taste them, and he finally like figures it out.
Yeah,
I-
because the place is called Magic Blue Dragon. So he had the blue dragon part, but he was missing the magic part.
Violet.
Violet, my bad. Violet Blue Dragon.
I looked up, sorry, Yellow Pages. I'm based on a Reddit post. I'm old enough to remember Yellow Pages with a bunch of business numbers being delivered to my parents' door, but the movies make it seem like every phone book had a list of all the nearby residential phone numbers for you to look up by last name as you see fit. How accurate was that? Then someone responded, phone companies would publish phone books for each city or district. You would get a phone book that had white pages and yellow pages. White pages had
Cool.
names and addresses of anyone that had service with the phone company that published that book, while the yellow pages listed the phone numbers and addresses of businesses.
Nice. Okay, so it's the phone companies who would share your data.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Fucking
And
Pac
then
Bell, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
and then there's a thing I had forgot the name of it, but it's called consensual non-consent. Consensual non-consent is a discussion around consent to engage in a power or dominating sexual act between two or more people that will play out as though it is non-consensual.
Hmm.
AKA Hente.
It's
Okay, so that's like people who have like a rape fetish, I guess.
like a thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a kink.
People like
Yeah.
being dominated. Well, good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't
Uh,
kink shame here,
but
No
I
kink
always make
shaming.
sure I have a contract signed.
Hell yeah.
like Dave Chappelle.
Like Dave Chappelle. I like how he's like, he just he brings that hammer with him because he's like, all right, cool. I think I figured out where this place is. I'm bringing this hammer because I'm about to fuck shit up. And
Yeah.
he just follows the delivery guy and he's like, I'll deliver that for you. You can fuck off. And this scene is probably the most famous scene in the whole movie. It's the corridor scene when he gets back to the prison. Twan, this is your first time watching it. What did you think of the corridor scene?
I thought this whole scene was dope. The way it starts with him exiting the elevator and then holding the hammer up, and the little bit of like humor where it connects the hammer to the guy's head with the dotted line. I thought
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
pretty
hilarious.
funny. That was like randomly put in there, but it was like, yeah, this is going there. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, this whole corridor scene, it reminded me of, and being someone that has not seen this movie in the past, it reminded me of the hallway scene from Daredevil,
Mhm.
the Netflix show.
Mhm.
But obviously, this came out way before, so I'd imagine that Daredevil took inspiration from this scene because the way that it's filmed in like a landscape view, and almost like we can see through the walls of the hallway, and he's just essentially just going down like almost like a side scroller game, like Mario or some shit where he's going, left to right, and as he's going left to right, he's fighting these people, and it's all like one long drawn out scene. It was super fucking cool to watch, especially it being the first time that I've ever seen it, and like I didn't have any previous knowledge of this like amazing scene, but it was really cool.
Yeah, they did actually take inspiration from Oldboy to do that whole scene. And it's such a
Nice.
badass fucking scene. Like this is where you see all of his training that he's done over the years that he's been locked in there just come to fruition. It's so glorious to go through. And he wrecks like I think it looks way
Like 20
way
people.
more, yeah, way more than like 15 people of all various sizes holding different weapons. There was a couple times when I was like, why aren't they swinging those long sticks? And you see them and they're kind of they do swing like some shorter sticks, but the longer ones they kind of use to like jab. And it's because
Mhm.
they're in a fucking hallway. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it makes sense. But when you're looking at it, it looks like one wall is removed, so it looks like more open. But there you yeah, it's such a tight space. Yeah, that was really cool.
And
That was
even
super
even
cool.
before that, we got the scene of him with the hammer, using the hammer on the guy to pull out his teeth while
Mm,
that classical music was playing.
That was
mhm.
That
cool.
reminded me of like Hostel. Um
Oh, that's kind of hostile. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that guy until he showed up again. I was like, oh, this fucking guy, because I forgot where he was from, and then I remembered because you see his gold teeth.
I
Yeah.
for I forgot that like that's how that hallway scene like ended. And
Yeah.
the one thing I like, obviously the cinematography in that scene is fucking insane. And
Yeah.
like what I like about it is that he's got a tough chin, dude, because he gets
Yeah.
hit by I don't know how many 2x4s. Like
Mhm.
they're just and he has a knife in his back the whole time.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Like a
It
dude stabs him early in the fight.
yeah.
And then I like he loses his hammer and he just starts bodying people.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
one big ass Asian dude. They're like, go fight him, and he's all like limping. He's like, I don't want to. I don't want to fight him.
Oh man, it was raw and gritty. Like it wasn't like a typical fight scene where it seems like the main person has like unlimited stamina and he's just able to take everyone out. Like you saw how tired this dude was getting and how like gassed everyone else was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just added, like a real element to it.
That I love. I love what you said. Yeah, it's gritty, dude. It has a realism to it. And I like how he's like from that point on, he's just kind of like walking around with a knife in his back.
For the rest
You
of the
know,
fight,
that knife was CGI, which I thought was interesting.
really.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I mean,
I
seems
mean, I hope they wouldn't
pretty
stab
easy.
him with a knife.
Everything else was practical though. Everything else was practical. And then he did his
Even
own
the
stunts.
ant.
No, the
No,
answer,
sorry.
the answer CGI. Imagine this thing, we got this genetically enhanced. It was actually used filming perspectives from the 1920s to make this ant look.
To sit down
You
on
know
a
how hard
subway,
it is to get an ant to sit.
Right?
it took trainers 5 years to do this.
I know, right? I guess so.
Yeah.
That scene took 17 minutes to record and 3 days to film.
Damn.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was like they really went all out. Yeah, like you guys said, they've used it multiple times. This one video game that came out 2 years ago. It's called Sifu,
Mm-hmm.
and the second, I think it's the second level, has they do like almost like a shot for shot remake of the corridor. Like your
Nice.
character goes in and you're looking down the hallway, and then right when you're like start walking down, the camera pans so it's sideways, and then it's you just fighting down the hallway, fighting all these dudes that have bats and 2x4s and shit. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty. That sounds dope.
That game was tight. I remember playing it. And I was like, "Oh shit, this is Oldboy! Hell yeah!"
Huh.
I love watching. I love the when you see these iconic scenes and you just see them in other medium because it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and I always love a good one shot.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Like this one shot is sick. Daredevil's one shot is sick. The
True
raid,
Detective.
the raid redemption.
Oh yeah, the
um,
raid has some of this too. That's right.
True Detectives one shot is sick. There's so many. Saving Private Ryan's one shot of like him running up the beach. I guess it's not a one shot.
Oh,
There's cuts, but I mean, it feels like almost like a one shot.
Yeah.
Like all these one shots are
I
so
mean,
great.
have you guys seen? Isn't 1917 that entire movie a one shot?
Oh yeah, well
Yeah,
there's
that-
like small cuts, but yeah,
Yeah.
for the most
that's
part,
that's a good one.
That
yeah.
movie was crazy. I saw the movie in theaters. That movie was insane. One thing I loved about this scene after he pulls the guy's teeth to get like information is he like points to the cassette, and I'm like, oh damn, Koreans are really just Mexicans because he kept all the tins in that cookie tin.
He did.
I was
Nice.
like, oh yeah, dude.
Homies.
Cross culture shit right there.
Yep.
And one thing I thought was super gangster after like he takes this dude hostage, he's like, who here's AB positive? And like a couple AB and like a couple dudes like raise their hands.
Yeah.
Like they're like, here, he's gonna need blood. And he just like takes it. It's like, you guys leave. And then he just starts kicking everyone's ass again.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was sick. And then it kind of, I like the way they capitalize on his badassery where he gets to the end of the hall, a fucking elevator door opens, there's a group of guys, and then it cuts shots to the bottom of the elevator, and then all those dudes fall out like fucked up, and he just
Yeah.
walks, like limps out, like, oh hell yeah. This whole scene was badass.
It was iconic for sure.
And this is one of the many times that the movie does this. I think is super cool. Because right after this scene, he kind of collapses from exhaustion and like blood loss from being fucking stabbed in the back and hit by a bunch of 2x4s. And a guy
Yeah.
like picks him up, walks him to a cab, pays a cab driver, and he's like, take him wherever he wants to go. And he looks at him and he's like, it was nice to see you again. Oh, was it? O'Day?
Mhm.
And then the guy's like, what the fuck? And he leaves and he's just like, every time he thinks he's making progress and finding out what happened to him, like there's just like another level of like what a twist going on.
Yeah,
Like,
he's just constantly reminded that like someone's pulling the strings.
you have no agency. You
Yeah.
think you're making independent moves, but someone is pushing you to all these locations. I think is very cool.
I think when he gets the phone call, when he first gets a cell phone and he talks to the villain, I think the villain tells him like, how are you enjoying your bigger cell or something like that? Or maybe that's during the
Yeah.
IM. And
Yeah,
like
that's
that
right.
That was
that
cool.
specific scene, like when he gets back in the car and he's like, "Good to see you again, O'Day," and then he like drives off and he's like, "Good to see you again, O'Day." Fuck, am I in a bigger cell? like he's just still back in it. Like there's all these strings that are being pulled out off camera that we can't see, but yeah, he's just caught in this huge fucking web, and it's really cool. The villain be villain in this, and everything is like planned. It seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it really kicks it up a notch, like in the following like segment of the movie where, well, he gets back and he gets stitched up by like Mido and I think like this is where like they're falling for each other even more, and then he goes to see his homie, the guy who picked him up from the drunk tank. He makes an appearance and he runs like an internet cafe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I like how his homie's like, he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, dude. Like, I like how his homie's a homie, dude, because he's just like, it's so good to see. He never even questions him, even though his best friend's like fucking being looked for murder. And he plays him the tape of what happened. Um, and then this is where we kind of get our first, I guess, instance of who the bad guy is. We get some name that he goes by. Was his pen name Evergreen or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought this whole like internet cafe scene was pretty cool, and him returning with his homie was kind of sick.
there's two homies united again, and like they just immediately got back into it. It was just
Yeah,
like,
they just like he's a real one, dude. It's like
yeah,
they never stopped talking.
Yeah.
mhm,
One little tidbit that I thought was cool, if you look in the background, the game that they're playing on the internet on the computers is the Half-Life multiplayer mod Counter Strike.
Nice.
So not Source, they're playing the
Yeah.
Half-Life mod of it. I was like, that's cool.
nice.
I was like, that's fucking sick. That's a fucking
Throwback.
throwback right
Yeah, for
there.
real. I think this is when um he's given like an ultimatum, right? Because he does finally get a call from Wu Jin.
Evergreen.
Yeah, from
I,
Evergreen.
I just call him Evergreen. It's
Uh
easier
okay. From
in English.
Evergreen, and then Evergreen's like, you have 5 days, um, or else we'll kill Mido. And
Not only will
so
we kill Mido, he says, we'll kill Mido and every woman you love for the rest of your life.
yeah. It's intense, bro. Why you gotta be so mean? Just stop bullying me.
The level of hate that this
Yeah,
dude has for him, like, is kind of
Yeah.
wild.
for real.
Is this where we see well, I guess it's not like the first time, but like we really get to see Evergreen? Because the
Hmm.
first time we find out Evergreen was the guy who picked him up and threw him in the cab.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Then we see him in his high rise, right? And he's like this mad rich dude.
Yeah.
You
It
know
kind
what's
of looks like
crazy?
Shohei Otani.
He does. I was gonna say he's a very handsome looking man, very nice skin and shit. Like looks like a K-pop star actor
Yeah.
guy. And
Hmm.
him and Daiso are supposed to be the same age, dude.
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah, because
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
duh.
they
they're
went
the
to,
same
yeah.
age, dude. They don't even look like they're remotely the same.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
money.
imprisonment and money.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Huh? Well, and then Daiso was like a belligerent alcoholic
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That dude was a partier. He was like the type of dudes we hung out with in school.
Dude was fucking smoking cigs in the Catholic school.
In Catholic
Yeah, dude.
school.
That fit he had on was wild too. It's like all fucking like zebra.
Yeah.
And then this is where we find out that like not only is Evergreen like look is like not a like kind of planned all this, but he's been monitoring him the whole time. Like the apartment's bugged
Hmm.
because when they're in the internet cafe, don't they talk to him? And they do a reverse search of his like IP address and they find out it's coming from the apartment directly across from Mito.
Yeah.
And then Evergreen insinuates that he knows Mito, right? Because then he like doesn't trust her because he ties her up to like the wall or some shit.
I think he ties her up to a chair.
Is that what he ties her up to?
Yeah.
And he's
And
like,
he
I can't fucking trust you.
Oh
He's like
no.
losing it.
No, you're right. Yeah, he ties her up and he's sitting on her on the floor.
That's right.
And then he gets a call from his homie, and his homie's like, the call was it's being sent from the apartment complex. He says the name, and then and then he like looks up and he's like, "Oh my god!" And he like runs outside to the other building. And then I think that's where he finally they meet face to face in the scene, right? Is
Yeah,
that
they
this
meet
one?
face to face for the first time. Fucking Evergreen kind of bodies him. He's like, do you want it? Because he puts a knife to his throat, right? He's like, you could kill me. He's like, but if you kill me, you're never gonna find out why I did this. He's like, so what's more important to you, revenge or knowing why this happened to you?
Yeah.
And then I
I don't
think,
know. What do you
and,
think would be more important?
and then additionally, he also like shows his chest and he has like a
Oh,
scar
that's
on his chest,
right.
and he's
That's
like, I
right.
had the doctor put in a pacemaker, and so if at any point in time I press this button, he's like he has like a button, he'll just immediately die. So
Yeah.
no torture and no killing, because then he won't figure out why. I think your question was what would be better
Yeah,
to just
what do you think would be more important? Revenge or finding out what happened to you?
Huh.
Because at this point, he already threatened to kill like his girl and like everyone he loves. Like just slit his throat right there, get it over with.
True.
Although I think he would have died too because Mr. Han can fucking fight.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that dude has he
That's
has Hans.
Hans.
Nice.
What would you guys do?
Fuck.
Would you kill him
I
or
would
would you
fucking kill him.
live through the mystery? Try to figure out why.
I think I'd try to figure out the mystery.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I like this next scene. There's one line that I wrote down that I'll get to in a bit. Well, dude, Evergreen's just so calm, cool, and collected. He's like, all right. He's like, oh, by the way, you left your apartment door open. And he's
Yeah.
like, fuck. And like he runs back and the guy who imprisoned him, who he took his teeth out, his name's Mr. Park.
Hmm.
He's there and he's like, what's up, dude? And they just have Mido like strung up where fucking titties are out. He's fucking like caressed her breast and shit. And he like smiles and he's got all gold teeth. He's looking like a fucking like a rapper.
Hmm.
Looks like
He's
Post
he's
Malone.
looking like a crime boss
Like,
at this
like a
point.
crime boss.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's going to be the end for him.
Oh, one thing I didn't mention earlier that they say while they're in the internet cafe, I think Evergreen tells him. He says that his case has been dismissed. Does this mean he's not wanted for murder anymore?
Yeah, I think so.
So they cleared his name.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Because he wants him to be able to like freely move around and try and figure out the mystery without him getting locked up.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think because he just showing that he's still the one pulling all the strings.
That is kind of crazy to just like make his case disappear like that. That is kind of wild.
Yeah.
Money.
Well, then Evergreen, I like how Evergreen just shows up and he just pays off Mr. Park. He has like a whole briefcase full of cash to just like leave.
Oh yeah, to save both of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, fuck it, let's leave. He's a businessman. He
Mhm.
doesn't let his revenge and he says a line here. I don't know if you caught it. He tells Mr. Park, he's like, I'm gonna cut your hand off for because you touched Mido's breast. And then while he's leaving, he's like, well, what about my tongue? I was like, damn, you lick her titty? Like, damn.
Did he?
I mean, he said because right after he says that, he says he's like, "Oh, well, what about my tongue?" While he's walking
Mhm.
out, and he has like a mischievous smirk on his face.
Damn.
And I'd be like, "Oh, you're just gonna cut off my hand because you know my tongue did a little work too, buddy."
Damn.
Hmm.
I just thought
Is
that was
that
like,
why what happens in the end happens in the end?
I don't know.
No, I think that
I
was.
I think that was
I think
because
that's different.
he's a big mouth.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. And then this kind of brings him and Mido like close together again, right? He like trusts her again.
Yeah. Doesn't she? Does she sing the
They're
song?
yeah, they're driving
Yeah,
and she sings a song and she's all fucked up.
and she quit her job too.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because she was like such a good sushi chef that she was on the news, so she must have been pretty successful.
top tier sushi chef, just down to go on a mission.
And she's like, "Fuck that! I'm quitting this. Fucking Michelin star be damned." Yeah, that's right. She sings a song and then they fuck. What'd you think of this fucking sex scene? It was kind of like
Bro, it-
it was
I don't know.
animalistic.
Yeah.
Said it
She
hurts so much, but I'll endure it.
in the beginning, yeah, and then she goes all in once she gets beyond that.
Yeah, she's screaming like
She
a.
Hmm.
If you've ever
she
seen
does
any Asian porn, they all have that same scream.
she does say like, how did you not do this for 15 years?
Yeah, he fucked
Um,
her good.
and so I took that as, did he like not even masturbate for 15 years? Like
But he said the
They
after,
TV
show
was his
him.
lover.
oh, okay. I thought, but then he fails because the song wasn't long enough.
Maybe he can never
And then
get
just,
there,
yeah,
but
and
he's
Got too
just
much stamina.
constantly training himself.
Now he's
mm.
just edging for 15
Yeah,
years.
dude.
Jesus
Damn.
Christ.
I will say it is one of the more realistic sex scenes I've seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like movie sex scenes usually look pretty fake.
Trying to think of a movie sex scene right now.
Fucking
Any J-
Oppenheimer,
I haven't seen that movie yet.
I don't remember the sex scene in
Florence
that.
Pugh and her
Let's
dark
piss.
nips.
I just remember
Any James Bond
titties.
movie.
Yeah. Well, I think in those they're not like,
They're like romanticized.
yeah, they're way more romanticized. This one was way more
This one
like,
was like just people fucking.
yeah, just
Yeah,
some raw,
we're just in the apartment with them.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
some Pornhub original content.
Even those are kind of like set up. You got to put the camera up. It's like this is like you pulled out your flip phone and you're fucking recording.
Flip
Old
phone.
school.
Yeah.
Your fucking flip phone though.
It's gritty, bro. It's 03. And even then, though, like fucking Evergreen still follow him because while they're sleeping, they get gassed.
And then
Yeah.
then Evergreen is like laying in bed next to them.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Mhm.
And that's because he personally drops off the package, huh?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
That dude's so creepy.
Yeah.
It's a good villain.
He is a good villain. He's so like calm, cool, and collected the entire movie except for one moment. And what's in the box? What did you guys think was going to be in the box?
I wasn't sure.
I was not expecting it to be a hand or the hand of Mr. Park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did
That
not
was
see that coming.
I didn't either.
surprising.
Especially because they technically work together, but I guess Mr. Park works for him, so not equals.
Yeah, and Woo Jin was a man of his word.
He's a man
He
of his
told
word.
him that he was going to take his hand.
Yep.
Yep. That's
Was
true.
it like a power move? Like, look, I go through with what I say, so don't fuck with me.
I think so.
Probably. Yeah.
I think so. And then one
Would
thing
this
that
be considered human trafficking?
I don't know because he's not selling them. I think he's
True.
it's just like he
Impris-
owns a
like
personal
kidnapping.
jail. Yeah, kidnapping for sure.
Yeah, kidnapping and imprisonment. I think
Imprisonment.
that's
Yeah,
yeah.
Private. He's the private prison.
yeah,
But
Well,
he's not
like-
he's not registered.
yeah.
I
He's
think
not
he
like
has to be a
government.
registered
Yeah,
private prison. I think he's just a fucking dude with a dungeon that locks people
Or a
Pretty
away.
much.
building. Because
it's a total apartment
yeah,
complex.
yeah.
Woo Jin was like, I bought this dude a fucking building.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. We find that out later. It's good business though. I mean, how many people though just like want to lock someone up like that?
Good business, though.
Dale's
I mean,
just
it's-
taking notes on how to build his next business.
It's an interesting take on organized crime.
Yeah.
Like, we
To
don't
be
sell just
like
imprison
the crime
people.
family that just imprisons, that they
Yeah.
don't really do other crimes. They're the crime family that organizes with other crime families
Need
to like
someone to
lock up.
disappear? Call
Yeah.
us now.
Yeah.
1-800-LOCK-UP. I don't remember how we get to this point where Daisuke goes and talks to that lady at the salon.
I think when they're doing research, they figure out where he went to school at.
Oh, that's right. Him, the homie, and Mito, they're looking through the yellow pages for Evergreen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they come across Evergreen Old Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And him and his homie look at each other like, oh, we know that place.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the homie still talks to people who went there and he connects them with the chick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she talks about, like, oh, yeah, like, I don't know how she brings up the
It
fucking
was like a
sister.
rumor. A rumor had spread that she had gotten pregnant.
Does he learn
From,
that his name is Lee Woo's Jin yet?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. By that point in time, he had
And
known.
then he asked the chick about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I kind of remember him, but it's his. Remember his sister like killed herself."
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And then he talks to his homie, and his homie like
Basis is like fucking. It's like that chick was a whore, dude.
yeah.
yeah.
Man,
And
that's
then
kind of I mean, those rumors do get started in high school.
and
Yeah, they do.
while the homie is telling him this whole story, it like the scene shifts sideways, and we see our master villain sitting in there listening to the whole thing.
I know. I like how he goes from being like, he's like, "Oh, I had you bugged, but you got the bug removed, so I had to come spy on you at this internet cafe that your homie lives in."
Yeah.
And he just gets shanked up, just fucking murders his homie in the middle of an internet cafe, and like nobody realizes that it happened.
With the broken disc.
Everybody's locked in to
Is that what he
Half-Life 2.
shanked him with? Like a broken
Yeah,
CD?
dude.
It was a
He
CD.
popped
Yeah.
it out and then cracked it and just used that.
That's crazy. That's a brutal way to murder someone.
Mhm.
That's the only time he loses his cool in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because he was calling his sister a fucking
The
whore.
hoe.
Yeah, his homie gets he gets the worst death, dude. That's a horrible way to get shanked by some dull ass like piece of broken disc.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. And he like didn't even go for kill shots. He was stabbing him in like the stomach.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You'll die slow with that. Oh, isn't
That was rough.
what all while fucking Daiso's on the phone with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the chick's like, "Oh, your homie would know best," and he's like, "Oh, all right," which I think is kind of interesting because his homie didn't know the brother. He's like, "I don't know who Lee Woo Jin is." He's like, "Maybe this chick knows," and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I know him. I mostly knew his sister though." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I know his sister. I know that fucking skank."
It's probably just like a memory thing, you know what I mean? I feel like we all remember different people for really specific things.
Yeah, for sure. From like
Yeah.
high school.
Especially now that it's been like some time. So
Yeah, definitely.
is this where the flashback happens?
Right after this, so he goes back to the apartment and he takes Mido and he locks her up in um Mr. Park's
Complex.
prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, complex. Because Mr. Park's like, "Yeah, I'll help you out. This dude took my hand, the enemy of my enemy."
Mhm.
And I was like, dude, Mr. Park is like low key like the only like I don't know I don't want to say smart person, but he like is all business.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, this dude took my hand, dude. Fuck that guy. Sure, I'll help you out. You're gonna get revenge against him. Sure, good luck. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
help you out for a little bit." And then this is where he has the flashback.
And the
Yeah.
story
For
comes together.
Sanghook.
What'd you guys think of the flashback? I thought it was pretty cool. I like the way that they filmed it.
Yeah.
Where
What
like
a-
he's retracing his steps and like it shifts from older him to younger him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What a
He did
story,
something.
dude.
He did something in this scene that I resonated with so much. When he's smoking the stove
Peeping Tom.
and the chick comes up on the bicycle
Uh-huh.
and like to try and impress her, he just like starts working out on the I don't know what that piece of gym
He's
equipment
just
is
like
called.
swinging
Like
back
monkey
and
bars.
forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like swinging and sliding, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, I got good tries." Yeah, the fucking the backstory was pretty cool. It was kind of crazy. So this is kind of where we get the like we find out the reasoning for for why he's being punished. Well, Twan, you touched on it for his peeping Tomery. What did he see?
Oh, he saw Woo Jin, taking pictures of his sister, and he was like making moves to try to get her to spread her legs open, and he was really persistent about it. Um, she let him take her panties off, which I thought was odd because after that, then she was like really refusing. But yeah, no, I guess it's just the culture thing where if you're just very persistent about it, then
We're just like, fuck it, I'm down.
yeah, it's power of persuasion.
Maybe it's
Um,
maybe there it's like a lady thing, like you have to play coy or else you look like a slut.
hmm,
You
Hmm.
have to pretend like you don't want to have sex. I don't know. This is all just me fucking
Guessing.
guessing here
yeah,
because it seems to be a common theme. Because like as soon as like he starts like trying to like unbutton her blouse because she has like one of those dresses where the buttons go all the way down the middle.
hmm.
Like she's like, no, no. And then like he pops one and then she's like, all right, fuck it, let me help you. And like she starts unbuttoning herself and like reveals her breasts. And like after that, she's like, yeah, you can suck on my tits. She's not tripping on it.
And she's the one who pulls out like a mirror so she gets like a better angle of him
Yeah, oh yeah, that's
sucking on
right.
her titty. Like she wants a first person point of view of what's going on down there too.
So she,
Sucking on my titty like you wanted me, calling
Calling
me
me
all
all
the
the
time,
time.
like Blondie.
so do you think this is the first time he'd fucked his sister or they'd done it a couple times?
I don't
It
know.
seemed like the first.
I don't know. I don't know at all.
I feel
I,
like it's been a couple times.
yeah, maybe there had been like other things that built up to it, and this was just like another one of those like moments where they were intimate with each other.
It seems like they've had a past experience. She kind of like regretted it, and he was like kind of down for it, and then she just gave in to her urges.
Yeah,
That's what I got.
yeah.
I could be wrong though.
I remember watching this the first time, and I definitely didn't expect it to take like
Well,
in
I did not
the
expect this
incest
to be an
route.
incest movie, dude.
Yeah,
I was like,
No.
this dude's fucking his sister. Like, holy shit, that's wow. Okay,
yeah. It does. It does. Like you said before. I mean, I guess you would get some type of like reasoning or some type of weird justification as to why he ended up orchestrating this whole thing. But
Mhm.
like, damn, I definitely wasn't expecting it to be like how it was.
yeah. Well, Twan, this is your first time, so what was your reaction when you're like, oh damn, this dude, you saw this dude fuck his sister?
Um, I mean, it's not something that's like shown a lot in movies.
Not
It's not a
really.
topic that's really, um,
It's made fun of a lot for a certain subsect of people that live within our country, but it's not like
yeah,
shown in movies.
yeah. So it was odd. I like both of you. I didn't expect it to take that turn. Like I didn't know that that was the underlying theme of the movie.
That was a
Um,
crazy twist.
yeah. So it was very, very twisty, very M. Night Shyamalan esque.
I don't remember if it's at this point or after this where he remembers telling his homie, like, hey, dude, like I think I saw
Lee Soo Ah
Lee Soo Ah.
and Woo Jin. Yeah, Woo Jin and Lee Soo Ah.
Like he tells his homie, like, hey, I saw Lee Soo like making out with this dude. Cause I don't think he know that was her brother. Cause I don't think he tells his homie that it was a brother, just that she was messing around with some guy. And then that snowballed into her fucking everybody and potentially like fucking her brother and like getting. Does this happen then during his flashback or does it happen when he confronts Lee?
It happens then when he's like doing his whole like run through,
Yeah.
and then he finally gets to the part where he remembers seeing this happen. It then cuts to the flashback of him telling his homie, and then his
Because he's like
homie's
loading up his truck, ready to leave, right?
yeah,
And
and
he's
his
Yeah.
like,
and his homie's
"Hey,
like,
dog, fucking don't tell
oh,
nobody about this shit."
oh, crazy, bro. Yo, I gotta go do something at home real quick. And then he just dips. And then he's just standing there like, fuck, what did I just do? Like, and
Yeah.
he's like, don't tell anybody. And like, there's like no response. His homie's just like, all right, I gotta go do that one thing. And he just like
Immediately,
leaves, immediately blabs, just fucking yapping to the whole town.
That's some fucking juicy information.
I mean, it is some hot tea.
who's more to blame though? Like low key, like I feel like his homie's the one that should have got
Yeah.
the torture. Like
Yeah.
given like he starts the room. Well, he doesn't start the rumor. He straight up tells his homie, like, dude, I'm pretty sure homegirl was fucking her brother. That's kind of weird, right? Like,
But
and the way he says it isn't even like, dude, look, you know what I saw? He's like, yeah, so I saw something kind of weird yesterday. Like, I'm real conflicted about this. Like the tone of his and like mannerisms. He's like, look, I have this information and I don't really know what to do with it. And you're my
Yeah.
best friend, so I trust you, and I'm gonna tell you about it. And then his homie's like, oh shit, okay. Like, well, you're leaving. I know what I'm telling everybody on Monday. And he's like, hey, dog, like, keep this to yourself. He's like, oh, well, talk to you later.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I also think they didn't they may have not have realized that he wasn't really the one who spread the rumor, but I mean he was the only person that saw them. So,
Yeah.
you know, logically it was like the only guy there. And so it makes sense, but definitely they I mean if they wanted to really if he wanted to really like
Well, I mean, I guess he got his
enact
revenge on both
revenge,
of them, right? Because he did shank him up.
I guess yeah,
Yeah.
in the end he did end up getting shanked, but would have put them in a cell together.
And I think the next part of the movie is kind of interesting. I like the shift in Daiso's character because he goes from um like being like really frantic to kind of somber. He's like when he goes to go confront Lee, he's kind of like, damn, I fucked up. Like I do feel bad for doing that. Because he
Mhm.
kind of figures out like, oh, I told my homie and this is what led to her killing herself. Like shit, like that's pretty fucked up. That's like not what my intention was.
Yeah.
So he's like going there fully ready to like apologize and be like, hey, I figured it out. Like my bad.
Mhm.
Yeah. What was he though?
Well,
Because
he seems sad about it. I don't know if he was necessarily like looking for forgiveness from Lee, but I think he felt bad that she died. Because he
mm,
does come to that realization, like, oh shit, I did start a rumor that led to this girl dying that he seemed to have
yeah,
a crush on because he was like hitting on her.
yeah, but he definitely was going into it thinking like knowing that he was going to get into a fight though, because
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
they panned to him looking at the toothbrush, which
Oh, that's right. That was
comes into
fucking.
play.
Mhm.
That's right. I forgot about that. That was sick. Like immediately, like when he opens up the elevator, fucking Lee tells those two guards, like, hey, grab it, and he snaps the toothbrush in half and just shanks both of them in the fucking throat.
Yeah.
Dude, this dude fucking learned some shit in prison.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of this, like their confrontation and like him basically talking to Evergreen and trying to be like, hey, I figured out your game, like I won. And Evergreen's kind of like justification of it.
Um, I mean, it was cool. The fight scene was awesome. I like the again, this is just speaking of like the raw and the grittiness of this movie, how we saw one dude get killed with a broken CD, and then we saw people getting killed with a fucking broken toothbrush. It's like you don't really see kills like that. It's either a gun or a knife,
Mm-hmm.
but those are so quick and so I don't know, easy in a sense that
Yeah.
these using these types of objects to kill people is it's gritty. It adds I don't know a sense of realism to it because not everyone has a fucking knife or a gun. Um but yeah, this it was just another cool scene and then we're also So the way I took my notes, I didn't really get that it was brother and sister during the flashback. So when they're in the elevator and Oreso says you slept with your sister, that's when I was like, that's when I had my aha moment. Like,
Ah,
oh
Mm.
fuck. Um yeah, during the elevator scene, but yeah, it was crazy. It was a what a twist for me during this scene.
I'm right there with that. I thought that was like the fight was insane, and then like their confrontation was pretty cool when he's just like, "Yeah, I won your game, dude. You fucked your sister. That's like I saw. That's how you did that." And he's like, you know what you did to my sister, and he like breaks it down about how people started the rumor that she got pregnant, so she started to believe she was pregnant, and like she missed her period, and her belly started getting bigger, and all this shit. And I was like, oh man, that's fucked up because that is like a real thing that can happen. Like
Hmm.
a woman can like think
Was
she's
it
pregnant and start
Phantom?
exhibiting phantom pregnancies, yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And because of that, like she killed herself, which is kind of insane.
Yeah. This is a random little piece of detail, but I thought it was funny that Woojin has a Jesus piece tramp stamp
Oh
because
yeah,
they're
that's
like
right.
Catholic school kids. So
Yeah.
That's
like
right. He does have a Jesus piece. I saw that. That's right. Dude, his apartment was wild.
right?
It
It
was
Yeah.
like
was
all
cool.
open concept. And then like whenever he needed anything, it was just like a contraption in his apartment that would just like open up, like where he would go put on his suits. That
Hmm.
shit
Yeah.
was cool.
It's another one of those a place that I'll never be able to afford.
Fuck, like
Yeah.
ever though. Like that shit was probably like he
That's
had his
that's
own
1%
floor.
money.
Yeah.
Like when he looked at the elevator, it was like 1 through 34 and then just penthouse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, damn. Yeah, that is some 1% money for sure.
And the dude had like a fucking like water, like a pond
Oh,
Hmm.
that's
in
right.
his apartment.
That's right. And his floors had water and shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is kind of wild though to think about. I like how Daiso points out to him like that, like he's like, I didn't fucking kill your sister, dude. You killed your sister. And you look at the photos, and it's like the photos of her at the bridge. He's like, you were there with her.
Yeah.
Like you pushed her off the bridge. But no, he tried to stop her from committing suicide,
Hmm.
Yeah.
which is I mean, we don't find that out to like the last scene of their confrontation. But I do think it's interesting that I'm not entirely sure what he was supposed to do to win because he does figure out why he got locked up, but that's still not enough for Evergreen. Like he still continues to torture him when he gives him that last present.
I think originally that might have been like where it was going to end, but I think with and it is just kind of going further and maybe analyzing a little bit deeper, but like vengeance doesn't stop. And like once you start, it's hard to stop. And so I think that even though Woojin had like a specific idea in mind of like how it was supposed to finish, I think once he had the taste and he was fucking bloodthirsty at that point in time, that it just kept on going. Like the goal kept on getting moved like further and further and further. So regardless of what was going on and what Daesu did and like how much she had like apologized and like just done all this other shit, um, Woojin was just fucking he was vengeance. He was Batman.
Yeah, I agree
But
with
he was
that because
bad Batman.
when they're having their confrontation and he basically tells him like you killed your sister and like he kind of figures everything out. He's like, so like yeah, like what the fuck, dude? Like I figured out your whole plan.
Hmm.
Like because he's ranting at him and Bujin, you're right. He does have a moment where like he's half listening. And he's like, fuck that, stop talking. Like
Hmm.
I'm not satisfied yet.
Hmm.
He's like, so I'm gonna push it a step forward, and then that's when he's like, go open up that fucking present.
Hmm.
And that was this before. Did he fight Mr. Han yet? I didn't mention that, but I thought that fight with Mr. Han is hilarious. Does this
Let's
happen
see.
after he kills the two bodyguards? No, this happens after, huh?
I think it happened after. Yeah.
Yeah. So he opens the gift, and then I want to hear Twan's reaction to this. This is the big what a twist moment. So he opens up the gift, and inside is a book, and he's opening up the book, and it's a photo book, and a photo book of a child. It's his daughter, and he's flipping through the pages, and you're seeing her like as she gets older. And when you get to like, it's like one of the last page, probably by the time she's a teenager, she very obviously is like, oh shit, that's me doe. And
Hmm.
then it shows her as an adult with him, and he orchestrated it and made it so that me doe forgot who she was
Mhm.
and made it try to set it up in a way that her and Daiso would fall in love with each other. He even says like he's like planning all this part. It wasn't the hard part. Like this is kind of easy. Because like the hard part is getting people to fall in love. He's like, I wasn't sure
Yeah.
if you guys are going to be able to fall in love. And then when you did fall in love and you fell in love rather easily, he's like, that's when I knew like my game was won or something. So fucking Daiso has been fucking his daughter.
Mhm.
I when I saw this, I was like floored. I was like, what the fuck? That is
Yeah.
diabolical, bro. That is holy shit. Like that is like next level torture. Like that'll break somebody big time. What did you think, Twan?
Dude, it
This
was just like how how much more could you possibly fuck with someone after locking them away for 15 years? But like, yeah, there's so much you can do so much worse to people than just locking them up for 15 years. You can make them fuck their own daughter. Like that was shocking to say the least. Just I don't know if it's because that type of theme isn't really shown in
ever.
movies over here.
That's such an insane concept, dude.
Yeah, it was yeah, I was taken back. It was a crazy way to start my day. Um
Like not only did he fuck his own daughter, but he fell in romantically in love with his daughter.
mhm,
Like
Yeah.
it's like a whole nother level on top of that.
yeah.
What did you think, Sam, when you first saw this?
Oh
I'm pretty sure we
man.
are all like, what the fuck?
Yeah, especially after, I mean, the first twist of like figuring out that um Woo Jin was sleeping with his sister and like committing incest with his sister, and then coming into this and then seeing the photo album, it was like, bro, what the fuck? Like his I mean, he could have, his villain plan was just so in depth. I mean, he hypnotized both of them, right? He hypnotized Daesu, he hypnotized Mido. And we just see like all the extent of everything that has happened. He made sure that Daesu was at that like sushi spot. It's just it was crazy. Woojin probably could have done a lot of good in the world, but he was so focused on being a fucking villain that he spent his whole life dedicating to just revenge, and it's so wild. He's such a good villain. This was a really cool, just kind of full culminating way to show the full depth of his villain villaininess
Villainy.
villainy villain.
And not only did he do all this, but when he orphaned Mido, and he even says he's like, "Oh yeah, like I fostered her without her knowing." Like he
Mm-hmm.
like made sure she had a place to stay, like a good place to stay. She must have
Yeah.
learned some skills to become like a pretty renowned like sushi chef. Like that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like anyone could, like I mean, not anyone, but like you can work at a sushi restaurant, but to be renowned, to be like featured on TV means you're pretty talented.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
like he did all these things to build up this girl that he was like ultimately planning on like setting her up to fuck her own dad and also like ruin her life because it flashes and he's like, "Oh yeah, like don't be so certain that Mr. Park was your homie, dude. Like he was happy to give me his hand. I built him a whole fucking building. Like it
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
was a small price to pay. Like Mr. Park is a businessman first and foremost." And
Mm-hmm.
it flips to Mido, and then there's a present to her. So that she was gonna see in her photo album that she has been fucking her dad that she thought like abandoned her like this entire time. Like that's so diabolical that he did it to Daisu so he could see what he's done and then have his daughter have that knowledge and know that she's gonna be broken and him having to deal with that trauma too was like, when is it gonna end, dude?
For
Like
real.
low key, it was the best time he'd had in the past 15 years is being locked up in that room.
Yeah.
Like that was like easy mode compared to what he had to deal with outside in the real world.
For
Yeah.
real. Just a bigger cell.
Yep, just a bigger cell. That fucking shit was wild. And this next scene is pretty. I mean, like the Mr. Han scene is like he tries to kill um Lee Woo, and then Mr. Han just hilariously just like flinging him like everywhere through the entire room.
Just countering him.
Just
Yeah.
he breaks every piece of glass in that room, dude. He throws him into everything. And this next scene was like so uncomfortable and like fucked up. Like him like begging him to not let me to not have Mido open the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like first, like he goes to his humanity, then he threatens him, and then he's like, "I'll be your dog from now on. I'm fucking, I'm a
Bitch dog. He's like, I'll wag my tail. If you see
yeah."
me wagging my tail, and he's like singing their old alma mater,
Mhm.
like trying to level with them, like, come on, we're boys. Like we grew up in the same school. It was like he broke him down. He broke that dude down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then he ultimately what like convinces him. And then this dude's just like laughing the whole time he's doing all this shit. Like he's eating it up.
Yeah.
And what ultimately convinces him is he gets the pair of scissors that he stabbed Mr. Han with, and he cuts off his own tongue
Hmm.
to prove like how dedicated he is. Because the whole thing that was it Lee
Woojin?
Wu Jin.
Woojin? Like his whole thing was like, you fucking have a big mouth, dude. You don't know when to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
So he cuts his own
Yeah.
fucking tongue off. And then Woojin's like, all right. And he calls Mr. Park. He's like, all right, don't let her open the box. Like that's what convinces him. And he kneels next to fucking Daiso while he's all bleeding. And he's like, oh man, our game's over. Now where am I gonna get happiness from? I was like, damn, dude. Like he finally got the satisfaction that he wanted. He broke this dude so badly, made him cut his own tongue off, that he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm good. Like this is good. This feels nice.
And this part right here, I don't know. I was kind of thinking about it a little more when Daiso goes to try to press the button to kill Woojin, but it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Is
No,
that the doctor never made it work?
Oh, I think it was all a lie.
it was all a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was just the remote to control his sound system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because if you hear in the background, it's him and fucking Mido fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like another. It's just like, nah, dog, you're not gonna kill me. You're living with this shit.
But then he ends up blasting himself.
Well, I think that became like his only goal in life, and I think he couldn't live with the fact that he couldn't save his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, it was his fault. Like, dude, you're fucking your sister. Like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he kills himself in the elevator. I don't think he could live with the guilt.
I don't
Like,
think
what
he
was
could either.
what was feeding him was like getting vengeance against Daiso, and he completed that.
Yeah.
And he was just like, well, fuck it. I got
Job's
nothing left to
done.
live for. Yep, job's done. Kobe meme.
Calls over.
And then the last bit I think is pretty interesting. Which also like for Lady Vengeance also ends in the snow. Which is I thought was an interesting parallel. He goes and he finds Miss Yu, I think that was her name, the hypnotist,
Mhm.
and basically asks her, like, hey, can you hypnotize me? Like, this is what happened to me. And she's like, damn.
He writes her a note though.
Oh, yeah, he writes
because he
it.
doesn't have
Yeah,
a tongue
yeah.
anymore.
He writes it. And then I like Tom brought it up. He says that he ends it with like, even though I'm a beast, don't I deserve the right to live? And she's like, that really hit me. And that was a good line.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, your whole story was kind of fucked up, but that last line is what got me. So she's like, what does she tell him? All right, I'll hypnotize you, and your psyche's gonna split into two people. There's gonna be the monster, the one that has to live with all the terrible shit you did, and then the rest will be Daiso, the one who has no memory of that. And it's like you're gonna stand up, walk 80 paces, the monster's gonna die,
Yeah.
you'll wake up, and you'll be Daiso. and you won't have any memory of like who Mido is or like what happened. Or she actually he'll remember Mido. He won't remember that that's his daughter.
Daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does it. Mido goes up to him. She picks him up and she's like, "Were you sitting with somebody?" So, do you think he actually saw the hypnotist and he actually forgot everything, or he just imagined it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, at the end when he's like smiling and then the smile like kind of goes away and it looks like he's remembering. Um, I think that maybe he did meet with the hypnotist, but it just didn't work. Like it didn't hold, you know?
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be ambiguous. Park Chan-wook said he's like, I purposely made it ambiguous so different people will see different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Makes
mean,
sense.
the fact that he's just like, fuck it, just let me forget. I'll stay being in love and fucking my daughter for the rest of my life. I'm chill with that. Like, damn, dog, that's quite the fucking decision.
For real.
Right. Yeah, his expression at the end of the movie, I mean, I could you can definitely interpret it many different ways because it could be he was laughing out of joy that
Mm-hmm.
he didn't remember,
Or
or
it was like
holding back tears
pain
that he
laugh.
was
Yeah.
remembering.
Hmm.
Oh man, fucking, what a fucking crazy ending though.
Yeah.
The last like fucking 15 minutes of this. It's a 2 hour, what, hour and 50-minute movie? Hour
Hmm.
50?
2 hours.
It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like 2 hours. The last
Nah,
it's paced really well, I feel like. And the last 15 minutes is intense, dude.
to say the
Intense.
least.
I think like what it does so well, like even though like Twan, you mentioned like you thought this was gonna be like an action forward movie, even the non-action scenes, because of the mystery and you're with we don't get audience superiority, so we don't know like things that the character doesn't know. We're learning them with the character
Yeah.
and like discovering new shit with him along the way. You're always kind of just like, oh shit, and I think that it does a really good job of like bringing it all together without it being like too convoluted.
Yeah.
Also, so he ad libbed the police station part and then the begging part. He ad libbed that whole thing. He made up that school song on the spot.
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
damn, nice.
And they're like, him, I'll be your dog. Like he made up that shit on the spot too. Like that whole scene was ad libbed.
Damn.
Or what is it? What is it called? They call it ad libbed in the wiki, but what is it called when you do it in
Improv?
Improv.
improv? Yeah. So, but the script probably was like me, like Daiso begs here, and it's just like whatever you feel like doing, or like
Yeah.
Daiso acts drunk. He's like, all
It
right, cool, I'll be drunk. The drunk scene is so funny.
is.
It's like there's like not a lot of levity in this movie. And I guess there's two like remakes of this movie. So there's a US one we talked about earlier with Spike Lee and Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Olsen.
Mhm.
You see Elizabeth Olsen's titties in that movie.
Nice.
And then there's an unofficial Hindi version of it that I guess has been like in litigation for like copyright because like it's very, very much like the same movie. And the old boy people were like, "Hey, dog, we didn't give you the rights to make this movie."
Yeah. Damn.
Interested to watch a Hindi version. I wonder if it's got like a Bollywood song in the middle. Like right after he fucks his sister, they just like break out into song.
Holy shit. Jesus Christ.
Isn't that reserved for the end? Don't they end their movies like that?
I don't know. I haven't
So
seen a
it's
lot of
like,
Bollywood films.
I know me either. I don't think I've ever seen one.
I think that was it for my interesting facts. I kind of said most of them during the movie.
I saw that the seven and a half floor of the building was a nod to being John Malkovich.
Oh yeah, I read that. That's cool.
Hmm.
Should we get into our reviews?
Let's do it.
I'm gonna pop it off just to get this is to overstimulate Twan real quick. So we got a 82% from
It's gonna
Rotten
make him
Tomatoes,
scream, dude.
which I'm surprised with. But then an 8.3 on IMDb, which is very high. And Roger Ebert says that Oldboy is a powerful film, not because of what it depicts, but because of the depths of the human heart, which it strips away.
Mm,
He gave it 4 out of 4 stars.
Oh shit.
damn.
I believe. I actually didn't check that. I just said it. Yep, 4 out of 4 stars. There's actually one he did review for the Chicago Sun Times
um,
in 2005. All right. So should we do our reviews?
Yeah.
Let's get started. All right, Twan, I'm curious to hear you first because this is your first time watching it. So give it to us. What's your review?
Yeah. Yeah, this movie was great. It was a roller coaster of a movie, but in a good way. I definitely didn't expect it to go down the way that it did with the story. That was shocking to say the least. The M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end was like the cherry on top to an already great film. If you take out the twist in the end, I still think it's a great revenge movie. The fact that it was a double cross revenge movie was was new. I hadn't seen that before. Yeah, and I've never seen a movie with a premise like this. It's shocking again to say the least. The fight scenes were shot great, especially the iconic corridor scene. That was awesome to see. Like I said before, it felt raw and gritty the whole time. Um, you didn't have like these quick deaths with guns and knives. They were very resourceful with how they killed people in this movie. It felt intimate at times with like the deaths and the emotion that was conveyed. But yeah, it was a great movie through and through. The pacing was great, and for someone who kind of struggles at times with when it comes to foreign films when it's like dialogue heavy. This one was relatively easy to watch and follow along. The story was easy to follow, and yeah, it was a good time. It wasn't dialogue heavy, so it was definitely ADHD approved. I gave it an A minus. I
Nice.
would definitely recommend this movie to anyone that enjoys watching foreign films. I know this movie is like on a bunch of lists. I think I saw that it was on a list of 1,001 movies that you need to watch before you die. I would definitely agree with that. It was a great fucking film. The underlying theme is a little heavy, but if you can kind of get over that, yeah, check it out. It's a solid flick. A minus.
Nice. Oh yeah. All right, I'll go next. I also gave this movie an A minus. I think this movie is great. This is my third time watching it. I think this is a movie I'll probably put on the rotation a little bit more. Like this movie's awesome. It's I love watching foreign films. I feel like they do things that and their storytelling is can be very different from how we do it out here in the West. And it could be some really like fresh takes. Like they tackle themes and shit that you see in like a revenge theme movie isn't anything like new in cinema, but the way that they did it was crazy. I mean, I love this movie. It's awesome. I think this is a movie that made me like start watching more like Korean films. It's great. The what the twist ending, the underlining like tone and the mystery of the movie, and how like it's slowly revealed throughout. And you're right there with Dicey trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. I think that's really cool. And then the limited like fight scenes were used like great. Like that corridor scene, I mean, everyone talks about it. It's amazing. It's super cool. The cinematography was awesome. Storytelling was great. The acting was great. Everything about this movie was awesome. A minus. I definitely recommend it to people. If you have no problem with like movies that deal with some not cool subject matter, I guess, then like definitely check it out. It's easy to follow, and you'll definitely leave the movie being like, holy shit, What a fucking crazy story that was.
Yeah.
Why don't you finish this off, Saya?
Give this movie an A.
Nice.
Just like you, Dale. This is my like third watch of the movie, and I feel like every time I've seen it, I've gained like a new appreciation for it. I think being able to kind of go through, and that's what I like about doing this podcast, that you kind of go through and like give the movie a little bit more thought. Right? For me, I give the movie a little bit more thought rather than just consuming it. And I really like everything that they did. I like the visuals of the movie, the overall like story. Daesu is like not he's not a hero, um, but you end up kind of siding with him because his nemesis is like actually not a hero and he's a real villain, but you understand the villain's motivation in a way that kind of makes sense in like a touch of makes sense, but like the villain is a villain, right? So I think this movie's a really good movie. Definitely one of those movies you should watch before you die. Like you said as well, Dale, it does deal with some heavy, and Twan too. It does deal with some heavy topics. And if you're cool with that, check this movie out because it has some wild fucking turns. The action scenes are they're few, but they're done so well, and they were done so well that we've seen one of them kind of replicated in other like media. And it's just going to continue, right? Because it's like a good starting block to a lot of other stuff. So check out this movie. This was a good way to come out of spooky season. This was a good pick. The wheel spoketh, and the wheel spoketh well.
Hell yeah. Agree with all those points, definitely. This was a good pick. Really happy that the Will gifted us with this movie. It was a good movie to come out of during spooky season because we saw so many bangers, and
Yeah.
even Season of the Witch on my like fourth rewatch, I definitely appreciated it more that time than I did previously.
Hell yeah.
We're making a fan out of him.
Let's
It was
go.
definitely better than I remembered. But and then this movie, like it's always a treat, like let's say I said, to revisit something and then you get that new perspective. And if for it to still feel fresh and just as shocking the first time is how you know it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we got an A from Saya, an A minus from Twan, and an A minus from myself. So a highly recommended movie. Should we wheel it and deal it?
Deal it up.
Wheel
All right.
it.
Let's
And
wheel it up.
any guesses? Any
I'm gonna do a quick
Mm,
shuffle since I added some. All right, let's go.
The Orphanage out of España.
I don't know about a. It's gonna be hard to say. I'm gonna go genre. I think we're gonna get an animated film.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I think we're gonna get a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm feeling horror.
We got a lot of horror movies on there.
Yeah,
I
there. I
know.
mean, yeah.
We got a
We are the cult of the living dead.
facts. All right, let's do it. I don't even think we have Night of the Living Dead on here, huh?
No.
Okay, well, let me add Night of the Living Dead. That seems kind of silly that we don't have
No.
the influence to our.
It's gonna be something random like fucking
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
that wrestling movie that's on here.
Oh, that would be so sick. The
Ready to
fucking-
rumble.
Ready to rumble? All right, let's spin it up. Wheel it and deal it. Let's see what we get. Thinking we're going animated. I think we're getting Unicorn Wars.
Ooh,
It's gonna be a weird one. What'd you say, Sal? You think we're gonna
like
get the
heavy
Orphan?
metal.
The Orphanage.
Heavy Metal's a good one.
Roar.
Boondock Saints.
Ooh,
3,000
3,000
miles
miles
to
from Graceland.
Brangoli.
I was right.
Bringly.
I was right. It's an animated movie.
It's two animated
No
back to
way.
back heavy metal. Oh,
Ferngully.
damn.
Damn. All
Holy
right.
shit. Nice.
Have you guys seen Ferngully?
Yeah.
Fuck, long time ago.
I've only seen it once. I saw this movie super late in life.
Yeah, I saw it really late in life, and I think I've only seen it once.
All right, guys. So we got Ferngully, the 1992 animated film Ferngully and the Last Rainforest. This movie is an hour and 16 minutes long. That is a short ass movie.
Let's go.
This is gonna be the shortest movie we've ever covered. I'm excited. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I think all of us have watched it before. So it should be exciting. So thank you guys for joining us this week as we covered the 2003 Korean cult classic Oldboy. We got an A from Seiya, an A- from myself, and an A- from Twan. Highly recommended film. Just a quick reminder, if you guys want to help support the pod, you can donate by clicking the donation link at the bottom of each episode. But if you can't donate, that's totally cool. We love making the pod. We love joining you guys each week to talk about movies. Give us some comments. What do you think about the new format we're trying out? You know, like it, don't like it. But yeah, we're going to be doing this for the next foreseeable future. So I think it brings better conversation into the pod. So it's fun for the three of us. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't done so already, please give us a follow on our social medias. We are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter /X, YouTube. I think that's all of them, right?
Threads.
And Threads. As always, I've been your host, the Dale, followed by my two co-hosts, Mr. Seiya
Thank you.
and Twan.
The world's first animated feature film was made in Argentina.
Nice. See you guys next week. Bye.
Love you guys.